Welcome, everyone. Today we have a truly versatile talent joining us. Our guest is an actress and producer with a remarkable career spanning decades, known for both her compelling dramatic and comedic roles. You've seen her in iconic films like The Wood, Blue Street, Next Friday, and Head of State. On television, she is widely recognized for her long-running role as the sharp forensics analyst Dr. Laney Parrish on the hit ABC crime drama Castle. Please welcome the talented Tamala Jones. How
Wow.
are you?
How are you? Thank you for all of that. That was great.
Oh, you're welcome. I had to bring you on properly and correctly so they can know who I have in front of me. With over 30 years in the industry, how do you maintain longevity and passion for acting?
I first of all never saw myself doing anything else but being an actress.
Actress.
Since I was born, I guess I just knew that I wanted to do this. So my passion is still thriving, like how it was when I first started. I
Okay.
love being on set. I love what I do.
Wow.
I just love acting is like therapy sometimes, you know?
Wow. It's like a rush for you sometimes, you know.
Yeah,
It's so exciting, right?
it is. But as far as the longevity, I think always being open to learning from everyone that you work with instead of, showing up on set like, oh, I got this,
Yeah.
um, and just being kind overall,
Okay.
showing up, being on time, being kind, doing your work and keeping your connections.
Yeah, that's always great. Keeping your connections. That's always great. And also what's very interesting, your recent film, Ordinary Angels, is a faith-based story based on true events. What drew you to that project and how was it different from other films you've done?
I really, really love faith-based stories, especially when they're based off of a true story, which Ordinary Angels was.
Mhm.
Those stories are very inspiring. And this particular story, the fight that this family had to go through, reading the script is what first attracted it, to me. And then finding out Hilary Swank was playing my best friend, I'm like, oh, that's a no-brainer.
That's right.
And
Easy.
yeah, and then I love Alan Richson. He's, I watch him on Reacher. He's great. And I just got to work with some really great and amazing heavy hitters. The director, John Gunn, he does a lot of faith-based projects.
Yeah.
But I want to get more into that because I've touched every other avenue.
Mhm.
And I'm a very spiritual person, and I do believe, even in the roughest patch of life, that
Right.
things will always get better.
That's right. That's right. You have to have that faith and believe that it will, you know,
Yeah.
get better. So, how was the experience working with stars like Hilary Swank and Alan? Like, how was their relationship when all you guys together?
You know, I learned a long time ago that this is a business, So when you're watching, I was watching as a fan and also as an artist while I was watching Hillary and Alan do their rehearsals, or when I was in rehearsal with Miss Hillary, I was just watching everything,
Everything.
including how she spoke about different things in the script with the director.
Mhm.
Usually I just show up, give you my best,
Yeah,
what it is,
right.
and they're like, cut, we got it, moving on. But I've never um like questioned certain aspects of the character. I just came in like automatically understanding, but of course she automatically understands. She's very detailed though, and the questions that she was asking were like, wow, this is the other half of acting, you
Wow.
know
Wow.
so I learned that from her. And Alan, he used to be a model. So when you see a guy that's just gorgeous like that, and he's a family man too, which I love.
Mhm.
Um, that's kind of intimidating because you don't know if he's gonna be like uppity, or and
Yeah, you don't know. Mhm.
he was the coolest. handsomest man that I ever met. Very, very much a real person.
Could you discuss your role in the film, Ordinary Angels, and its message of community and seeking help?
My role was Rose, and I played Hillary Swank's best friend. And I was basically the voice of reckoning throughout the movie because Hillary's character has a issue. You know, she has a substance abuse, and then this situation happens where she reads the story of this little girl. So I'm here to keep her on track with her life, but also I was open enough to understand as a friend what she was really fighting for. And what I loved about this story was it was based on a family. The mother had died of a rare liver disease, and then 5 years later, her youngest daughter ended up having the same symptoms and having to be rushed to the hospital. And they just couldn't afford. The family couldn't afford to keep paying these hospital bills,
Wow.
and you know, it just got outrageous. And Sharon, who Hillary plays, was in the grocery store getting hangover medicine,
Oh,
and
wow.
reads the story and is like, "Oh my God, I got to do something." And that day, the funeral for the mom was there,
Yeah.
and she showed up in the church, you know. So anyway, she stops being dependent on her alcohol and starts being dependent on fixing someone else. And these were real life situations, and you have friends like that, you know, that want to just bypass. Don't worry about me. I got this. Let me help. Let me get over here and help. But Rose she was the voice of reckoning, but also she learned along the way. And the film had the entire community invested. You know, the television, the Sharon, the character, had gone to the news stations, and she had gone to different companies because there were things that were needed for this child to get her liver transplant. And, you know, it came down to the day where the transplant was available, and they were snowed in. It was during the worst snow in Louisville, Kentucky. And the community, the church, everyone's watching the news, and this really happened, and decided to come down and start shoveling the snow because we got the private helicopter that agreed to come for free, you know, and fly in that weather to go and get this baby to where she needed to be. Otherwise, if the time ran out, the liver went to someone else.
Wow, because of the length of time.
Yes.
The delays. Wow.
Right. So the community, the church, the minister, everybody got together, and they created a path, and the child was able to actually get the liver transplant. And the importance of being a good neighbor, the importance of knowing and having empathy for other people in your community suffering, knowing that you can help them. Don't just watch them do it. You know, it's your duty. You're here to live your life, true indeed, but you're also here to be a good neighbor. You're also here to give back after all of your blessings. You're not just here to receive them and keep them to yourself. So if you could help someone, do it, you know, and use your discernment. Who needs really your help and who doesn't? So you're not being taken advantage of, but always be willing to lend a hand. And that's what I learned from this movie, which I also learned from my grandmother, because that's who I tailored my acting of Rose around, was my grandmother, Olivia.
So with similarities, like you was familiar to this.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was a very powerful movie, and the girl grew up, and she went to college, and she got married, you know, and she was alive for a very long time, and then COVID hit, and that's what got her, you know. But she was 5 years old when she got her transplant.
Wow. Wow. It was so surreal, you know, because everything really happened, and that's why it's based on true events. COVID and, you know, the snow. Wow. It's a lot.
Yeah, but it was having faith, and it was believing in. And he, you know, Alan's character wanted to give up so many times, but the people who loved him, that were around him, wouldn't allow it. And that's what we're supposed to do as a community.
That's right.
Yeah.
Come together just like that. It's about coming together and helping one another. That's what it's
Yes,
about.
it is.
Receiving the script, just when they ask you about it and they come to you with the script, what's the biggest challenge about taking on a role that is vastly different from your own personality or life experiences?
Um, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. That's like for me, um, watching an ID channel
Okay.
solve the mystery clue. I'm actually looking at someone else's life through a different lens than they looked at it through, or I'm creating a character, and I have someone that reminds me of this character that I can pull from, and then I can, your imagination is the most important thing, and not just as an actor, but as a human being. You're supposed to keep that.
That's right.
That's how you create, and I feel like sometimes when people get older, they lose their imagination.
Hmm. They do.
Um, so acting and, creating characters or playing characters and trying to be who that person actually was when they were a real person. These are all very challenging, but all a puzzle that I like to put together, you know?
Wow. That's wonderful. And with the fans, I'm quite sure a lot of people know, but you're an executive producer on the upcoming project Refrigerator Tales.
Yes.
What can you share about this project and what led you to take on a producer role?
Well, I've been trying to do more of that. I also executive produced a Lifetime movie a few years back, starring
Okay.
myself and Tisha Campbell. But um, I wanted to do something palatable for the kids and also for the adults, like around Halloween time,
Mhm.
because I always loved Elvira and Tales from the Crypt. So I wanted to do it like not so scary. But there's this thing, I can't remember this new genre that's coming up in the tech world where it's like 3 minute
Like,
plays or, like segments of something. It's like a micro show.
yeah.
And this is a part of that movement. I can't remember the exact phrase because I don't do all my tech work, but
Okay.
my
Yeah.
team does. But it's a thing, and so we're hopping on that. We have other things that we're going to be doing like that as well.
You're very passionate about uplifting troubled youth and encouraging them to channel their energy into something creative that makes them feel whole.
Yes,
What specific programs or initiatives do you believe are most effective in reaching at-risk youth?
I believe that if because this is what was given to me. I'm going to tell you, Charlie Mack, who is Will Smith's right hand man.
Yeah.
They all are out of Philly, and so Charlie
Yeah.
Mack used to do every year. He used to do this, and I've been on him like you have to like we have to go back. Life happens and things get put on the back burner, but he did it for so long, and he would get all of his celebrity friends that he knew,
Hmm.
all of us, and we would come out. He would fly us out. We'd come out there, and it would be like a whole weekend. And that weekend, we would spend going to different youth facilities, and
Wow.
we would talk to the kids that looked like after this they were going straight to prison. Like
Yeah.
this is the last stop here. We got to
That's
talk to these kids. We all, and when I say we, I mean Kevin Hart, Kim Whitley. There's so many people, so many celebrities that came out and went to these places to talk to these children and tell them, doesn't matter where you come from, it matters where you end up.
that's right.
And it sometimes got so deep where other celebrities were crying about where they came from and how this came to be and how they have to believe in themselves like wholeheartedly and not what you've been brainwashed to think of yourself, not falling victim to your circumstance, but
Right.
rising above it. And some kids it worked on, some kids got out of there and started their own businesses and
Yeah.
got with
So,
the program, and
yeah.
some we just couldn't reach. But programs like that, they do matter. And there needs to be more. And I feel like we also need to go to As far as women in the industry, I don't care what color you are. We need to go to the women and children shelters
That's right.
and talk to them, because those women have been traumatized
Right.
and left to feel like there's no hope. So I would love to do that. Anything for children and women and children, or teens that are having I really, and I tell anyone, let me know. My information's on my Instagram. Call my people, tell them you want to invite me in. I'll be there, because they are our future.
That's right.
And they are, suffering at some point, because look, we've never been through a pandemic, but they were in school and having to, like for kids, I just feel like there's a layer. I won't say like a full on depression, but like a layer of depression with these youth right now, that we do need to come and talk to them.
Yeah, I'm right now, and I live in Philly. I'm here now, and the place where I think you guys went was the Juvenile Justice Center. And
Yes.
that place there, like, there's a lot of mothers, single mothers out here. I guess all over the world, but in Philly, there's a lot of single mothers, and the sons, they just running rampant because they don't have POW centers open. There's nothing for them to do. So they're in the streets doing all types of stuff. And we try to reach them, like you said, just a select few maybe can make it.
Yeah.
A lot of them go back to juvenile prisons to adult prisons. And I'm talking about spending 20, 40 years there, because it's like it starts from home. It
Yeah.
starts in the house. And it's sad. It's a sad situation.
It is. So we could do something about that. We just have to think it through, and I feel like Charlie Mack was off to a great start, doing something like that.
Maybe he slowed it down for a while, or he's not back at it.
I just think that him traveling and having to do a lot of business outside, he just couldn't make time, and I understand that, because life be life, and
It
but
does. Yes, it does.
his heart is always in the right place, I believe, because this went on for years. It wasn't just like 1 year, this is a lot.
Yeah, continuously until it
Yeah.
slowed down. You've played a wide range of roles, including a medical examiner on Castle, breaking stereotypes that limit Black women to roles like wives or mates. How important is it for you to deliberately choose roles that challenge these traditional narratives?
It is very important, because I feel very strongly that as Black women, especially, they will only allow us to be and do certain things. And, like myself, if there's breakdowns, because I look on my own, my agents, they do all that for you. But sometimes I'm like, or someone will call me and tell me, I'm like, okay, I know it's not written for an African American, but see if they'll see me. And that's kind of what happened with Castle. It wasn't written for a Black actress.
Yeah.
I was the only Black lady in that auditioning room, but I auditioned for the casting lady so many times. She agreed to see me, Donna Rosenberg. So, yeah. So you got to be out there looking. You can't just be waiting for them. You got to have your hooks out there too. And that's how you find things. And then you ask, will they see you? And that's how you break down the barrier. You got to do your footwork.
You got
But it is very important for me to do that. And I'm on this women empowerment movement right now. And I want to stress that when you start hearing about this, it has nothing to do with discrediting men. It has everything to do with uplifting women from where they are right now, because there's a thing that's happening that needs to be addressed. And I will, because there's another woman I'm working with on this, but I just wanted to make a statement and be like,
Yeah.
I love y'all.
That's right.
I
That's
do.
right.
But this needs to be, so anything that does that uplifts the children and women, I do and want to be a part of.
You are a national spokesperson for Brain Aneurysm Foundation after surviving a rupture aneurysm. yourself at age 23. How did that near-death experience fundamentally change your perspective on life, health, and your career choices?
My perspective on life changed. Like, you need to be grateful for every minute that you breathe. Every minute that you breathe, because you don't know when you're gonna go. Who has a brain aneurysm at 23?
Wow.
Like,
Wow.
who
That's right.
does that and then survives? I just, at that moment, it was like, I hated it. I hated it that it happened to me. I hated that I had a brain aneurysm. I was so angry for a long time. And then it was like, what are you mad for?
Wow.
You lived. The doctor
True.
even told he was surprised that you were walking and talking, let alone worked an entire day. Like,
Wow. Yeah.
you are a fighter for life.
That's right.
And
That's right.
now you got to tell people your story.
Right.
So it made me value every lesson, every blessing, every trial and tribulation, every obstacle, everything I said I didn't like, and God, why me? It made me respect it. It made me not question God anymore.
That's right.
And it made me choose, because it is a choice. And I'm not a religious person at all. I don't want you to think I'm a Bible thumper.
Yeah.
I'm very spiritual. But
Mhm.
it made you choose to have to walk by faith and not by
By
sight.
sight. That's right.
And I have been doing that. And I have been led some beautiful places and led to have met some beautiful souls, and I stay prayerful. I stay in my meditation, because I know I have a gift called life.
That's right.
So anytime I get anything, I am overly grateful. And I think people think like, oh, she phony, because I'm literally, because
That's
they
right.
don't know my story all
They
the way.
don't.
Some people don't. But I'm like, I really am truly grateful, because this is a blessing. I get to see, I get to feel,
That's
I
right.
get to smell, I get
You
to
get
taste,
you get to walk.
I
You
get
get
to
yeah.
walk, I get
That's
to
right.
hug
That's
people.
right. That's right.
Like,
Yeah. That's
those
right.
little simple things,
They matters a lot.
it made me pay attention to those things. And then the people around you, and what you give them and what they give you, like, and then it made me feel like, now, after my anger is over, you know what this is. And this is, you must deliver everything with love.
That's right.
You have to take your ego and kill it.
That's right.
And you now have to start delivering love. Now, you ain't gonna be no perfect angel, because you're human and you're gonna go
Yeah.
off
Yeah.
sometimes, but you're gonna have
Sometimes you
to reel yourself back in,
you're gonna have
you
to. That's
know.
right.
And I do, but
But
still, it's a work in progress all the time, because you're
but
constantly being tested,
that's right. That's right.
But I look at life like that now, and I'm so grateful for everything, including things I don't like to see, because either I'm going to take that in as a sign I'm supposed to learn from that, or I'm going to go tap that person on the shoulder and say, hey, you're wasting time.
That's right. That's right.
you know?
You know what was if you don't mind, what were some of the symptoms that you started feeling before this actually took place? Like what was the last thing you felt when it actually happened to you?
So this is the part where I was confused with pain.
Oh,
Because in my family, and still I be having to deal with it, sinus infections,
me
we
too.
shouldn't be eating ice cream, but we eat it anyway,
That's
and
right.
then I got to deal with the mucus. I don't do that anymore, but I still have sinus issues.
Yeah.
However, I thought it was just a sinus headache,
Okay.
like
Yeah.
this headache kept going and going. I took Tylenol. I took sinus medicine, but it was for 2 weeks. And like on the day,
2 weeks straight. I'm sorry.
2 weeks straight, it just was hurting. It
Wow.
felt like somebody was pulling a rubber band on my head,
Oh.
tied
Wow.
around it, and just like was holding it. And it was just
Wow.
like, oh my God, I'm not getting any release. I could barely sleep, you know, it was just like pain. And then the morning that I woke up, the day that it happened, I had a sensation that I had to urinate really bad.
Oh,
Like I
wow.
was about to wet myself. So I tried to get up and run to the bathroom, and I didn't have any balance. I was
Oh, you
walking on
fell
my
over.
toes. Like it
Wow.
was like I was walking on my toes. I couldn't like walk straight. It was weird. And then when I got to the bathroom, it was like I plopped down because I didn't have any control over anything, and nothing would come out. And then it just started hurting
Really
real,
bad.
real bad.
Oh.
And then I swear to you, I've never mentioned this before because I felt like people would think I'm crazy, but I saw a little bit of smoke coming out of my ear.
Oh.
And that can happen. I later found out because your brain is overheating. It's hot as it's like a lava in
That
there.
makes sense. Wow. Okay.
So
Wow.
I saw that. And as soon as I saw that, it was like I hit the ground.
So,
And I don't know how long I was down there for, but I did hear a voice telling me to get up now, Tamala. So I get up, and when I got up, like my head, it felt so, it hurt, but it felt like now I can feel my skull and it's cold. Like, you know, when you get like you drink something cold really fast.
you get that brain freeze. All that.
Yes, but it was like that in the back of my head, and then it was hurting, and then it felt like my skull was touching my brain. That was how I was telling people
Oh,
it
wow.
felt. And then my arm was like stuck like this, you know, like it was
Like
like,
numb, paralyzed, or
yeah, I couldn't move it. It was like stuck. Let me stand up. It was stuck like kind of like that.
oh, wow.
And I couldn't move. I couldn't like straighten it or anything. So I called my boss and I told her, look, I don't know what's going on with me. You know, like I can't go to
Yeah,
work. I got to go to the hospital. She was like, no, come here and we'll have a set doctor look at you. You know, you'll be fine because nobody's thinking.
that's right. How serious it was.
Yeah, because I'm
Yeah.
23 years old.
Yeah,
Like,
you're 23.
so I get there and you know they're like you can't straighten out your arm. So that day they were throwing like purses and jackets over in each scene, you know, and then you know they rushed me to the hospital afterwards. And when I got to the hospital, the doctor did all this testing. He said, you've hemorrhaged. He goes, I don't even know how you're still alive, and you
Wow.
worked a whole day. You know, like because
What
Hollywood don't care as long as you can breathe and talk. You showing up.
you showing up?
You showing
Were you
up.
in pain on set?
I was. And that episode aired, and no one can tell. They couldn't tell that I had just had an aneurysm.
Wow.
Um, so then, you know, it was the recovery, and the recovery wasn't long. The doctor said because it burst already, and it was the size of a 50-cent piece. He said once that blood dries up on your brain, you're going to be able to get your paralysis will go away. Because I was numb. All the whole right side of my body was numb.
No, wow.
Um, so anyway, he gave me medications, and then he suggested I get shots of vitamin, all the B12s,
B12.
like twice a week.
Yeah.
So my, you know, grandma and my mom would drive me there. That I don't really remember too much other than bathing,
Oh, wow.
eating,
Okay.
sleeping, and going to get those shots.
Wow.
Because I had to go home. I had to go like to my old bedroom home, you know,
Yeah.
like, and my grandma and my mom took care of me. And then I was back to work. My first project was the wood.
Wow. Wow. Right after that. It's amazing that you actually remember exactly how it happened. Because some people just don't remember. And you remember step by step.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
There's certain things like, it's a little foggy to me, like like if somebody from high school says something or, you know, around that
Okay.
time, I'm
Yeah.
like, no. And I'd be like, Tamala. I'm like, oh God, I don't even want to tell them, like, you know,
What
sometimes it's
happened?
hard for me to remember that far back, but don't
Okay.
get offended, you know.
Wow. 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 It's a blessing. I mean, because your story is a testimony for, because some people do not come out of those aneurysms at all.
Never. It's
And
rare.
that's right. That's right. Your story can go a long way by helping others. Just
Yeah.
keep sharing it, you know?
Yeah.
Wow. But you also mentioned that for years you didn't want to go public with your story because you didn't want to show weakness or vulnerability as an actress. Can you speak to the pressure you felt to maintain a facade of strength in Hollywood and what ultimately motivated you to share your story? What was it that made you share it?
Um, I I I hid it because I didn't want to be a liability on set. I didn't want them having to take out extra insurance or feeling like we can't hire her because what if this happens? Like I just didn't want that. And I didn't want people feeling sorry for me. And this is the angry part. This is where I was angry during this time.
Okay.
And because I was mad that it happened to me. Like, why did it have to happen to me? Like, it shouldn't have happened to me. I'm 23, like I'm in my prime. I
Did,
was so upset.
did you question God about it? Did you get upset with God at that time? Or
Now, let me tell you about me and my relationship with the Almighty, the Most High.
okay.
I dare not scream or shout or ask him. I will be like, why is this happening to me? What did I do? I will ask those questions, but I dare not ever challenge. And now I dare not ask why.
Why? That's right.
I just move through it like, okay, let's break this down. What did you do this? Did you make any moves that would have got you here? No. Okay, so what are we seeing here? That's how I look at life now.
Right.
But then, you're so young and you're like, and it was, hey, slow down. Because I was working like a straight Jamaican, man. I have 3 jobs, okay? I was,
Breathe.
I, I would
Wow.
work on For Your Love, and then I'd go over to Veronica's Closet, and then I'd go shoot a movie, and then come back and have to be on set for Your Love, and this went so on and so. One day I was double booked, and I almost got a bad reputation because I was at one job and didn't come to the other.
Wow. Like a no call, no show almost.
Yeah, but it was because I was already,
Yeah, yeah.
and yeah, so I wasn't eating properly, I wasn't resting properly, and I was like, yeah, because while it's good, you got to get it.
Right. Right.
But that aneurysm was like, sit your behind down,
That's right.
sit down.
Your body talks to you. That's right.
You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, and all of this, no. And that was like a spanking from God. That's how I looked at it. Like I got popped, and I get popped plenty of times.
Yeah, yeah.
But
That
the
was the
thing
one that set you
is,
down.
yeah, but get the lesson, get why you got popped. Don't just
That's
keep
right.
getting popped. Um, so I look at my relationship with the Most High, like that's, you don't want to spank him from him. You don't want to ever get that. And I think people miss those taps on the shoulders, and they just keep doing stuff until they run into big trouble. But
That's right.
once you tap me now, because I've been tapped harder,
That's right.
okay.
I learned my lesson now and I got it.
Yes.
I have it. Did you do you take naps or can you take naps in between of on set or doing movies? Do they allow you to take like a 10-minute, 15-minute nap or something?
I wish I could take a nap, period. Like
Okay.
I naturally am a hyperactive person since I was a kid, bouncing off the walls.
Always
Um,
up.
I
Wow.
hit the ground so much they called CPS on my mom back then. Okay, I'm just
Wow.
wild, and I'm still like that. I can't even take a nap during the day unless it's raining or like
Something like that. Yeah.
yeah. I'm not a napper. I'm up, and when
Wow.
I'm up, that's it. That's why I have told people, do not wake me up because it's rare that I
That you
get to
take
get.
naps. Yeah, that you
Yes,
right,
let me
right.
sleep.
Do you sleep 8 hours a day or a little more? No, when you really get your sleep on, is it 8 hours or no?
No, it's like six,
Okay.
7.
All
Yeah.
right. Then you up again at work. 2 jobs.
all day long.
Wow.
All day long until they say that's it. And then when I come home, I still have to like wind down. So I'll put the karaoke machine on.
Oh, okay. And that's your wine dine moment, karaoke.
Yeah, let's get the rest of this energy out. All right, I'm ready, you know.
Wow.
But yeah, I just, especially after almost dying too, it made it even worse than it was when I was a kid, because now I'm like, I don't want to go to sleep. I don't want to miss anything,
Yeah. Wow. Wow. That's deep.
I
Going
know.
through something like that, it is. Because it changes your life. It makes you look at life. You kind of it's a word. You don't take it for granted anymore. Now you do what you need to do. And as
Yeah.
far as eating right, what are some of the things that did you change your diet? What are some of the things that you're eating on set or at home?
Well, sometimes, like everyone, I start eating bad, and when I do, I call a meal prep place called Thistle.
Oh, okay.
And Thistle will give you a vegan choice or your proteins, and you tell them what you're allergic to. And, I get all my greens, microgreens, and all my healthy foods from there. And then I do like to cook. Um, I'm learning. I just made a vegan spaghetti bolognese using walnuts
Oh
the
yeah.
other day.
Wow, okay.
So
That's different.
I'm learning how to cook healthy, but I just know soul food, Jamaican food.
Yeah, Jamaican. Wow, wow.
Yeah.
You love Caribbean, right? Caribbean food.
Yes.
Wow, well, I do too. Your film, Every Breath She Takes on Lifetime. This was in 2023, I want to say.
Yeah.
Um, tackled the serious subject of domestic abuse. What drew you to this project, and how do you feel film and television can serve as a platform for raising awareness about sensitive issues like mental health and verbal abuse?
Um, there's going to be more and more of that, but then there's going to be also a solution of, when I mean more and more of that, I mean using your platform, TV or movie, to expose that, because
Yes.
it's serious. I heard the other day, and he was a minister, and he said, "You are my wife, which means you are my property." My property? That
Wow.
kind of just threw me, like, how? That's slavery.
It's like
That's
you kind of narrowed you low. It's like you made a person feel or look real low. She's under you. Like you're my property. I
that's
own
not
you.
how this works, honey. And
Yeah.
I need women to come out of that, because maybe the system um, has brainwashed every woman to believing that if you don't have a husband and children by this time, you are pretty much finished. And so they settle because they want to make that deadline, and you end up settling for this, and then you stay in it because you got kid, and then no abuse is worth suffering. I'm sorry.
That's right.
And if you want to be a good parent, male or female, because women abuse men too,
Yeah.
if you want to be a good parent and you want to be good for yourself, it would behoove you to leave
That's
that
right.
toxic situation. Your kids don't need to see it, and you don't need to be in it.
That's right.
Period. So whatever I can do using my platform to not only bring awareness to that, but to bring a solution.
Hmm.
And I've teamed up with another young lady, and I don't want to say it because she's going to be announcing it very soon. Today, she's going to announce it, so I'll be able to talk about it afterwards. But we're about that self defense, and not about hurting anyone. I love martial arts because martial arts teaches you self discipline,
That's right.
and it also teaches you how to protect yourself. It's not about I'm gonna go mess this person up. Like there's lessons in that,
Yeah, it's lessons.
and in learning those lessons, you also develop a strong sense of self love and self worth. And
Right.
so I'm on that. you
Hmm.
know, and I want these young baby girls coming up to be on that,
That's right.
starting at 5, 6 years old,
That's right.
you know, where they can comprehend.
Wow. If your life was a movie, who would you choose to play you, and what would his title be, and why?
Um, wow, that's a great question. I definitely would pick some beautiful up and coming talent. I mean, what I mean when I say beautiful, I mean like her skill set,
That's right.
you know, is like
That's right.
so polished and gorgeous. Whoever it was, I wouldn't even, I would make sure that they could do it though, because, you
Hmm.
know, my life coming in this world, I came out swinging from day one, you know. Um, so
From the womb.
from the
Stuff.
womb.
Wow.
And
Wow. Wow.
I always said I was going to call it California Butterfly.
Oh, California. Okay.
California Butterfly, because butterflies, they go through
A
death and
cocoon.
rebirth, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it is up to them when they come out of there
That's right.
to stay in that little habitat or to fly away
That's right.
and enjoy the world as you can while you can, because you don't have long. And being born to a teenage mom in the 70s, you know, that's like crazy for back then, you
Wow.
know.
No, I know.
She got pregnant at 14 and had me at 15. And you know, everyone said I never cried. They said you were the silliest baby. Like, you know, I guess I fell on the floor or whatever. And
Yeah.
like I forget what happened, but they said they flipped my face over and I had this big old smile on my face. And they were more
Oh,
horrified,
everybody was
like,
shocked, right? Like, wow.
yeah, like, oh my God, this baby goofy as hell. But
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Oh,
I've
here
always,
comes trouble. That's what they
yeah.
say.
And then I've always entertained, you know, like I always I used to tell on people who didn't know I was. So
Oh,
they'd be
wow.
like, Tammy, what happened? And then I would like act it out. But I was very dramatic, you know.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, like whoever plays me has to know that this is not, I need you to carry it through from a teenager all the way up until where we get ready
That's right.
to be continued, you know what I mean? But
Wow.
it needs to be a really good player, and I'm gonna have to have a lot of uncles and aunties the way that it was for me, you know.
Oh,
So
are you working on something like this now? Currently working
no,
on your own? Oh,
no.
wow.
But I'm getting in my memoirs together, so
Oh, okay.
there's different things
All
that
right.
you asked me that are kind of like going in there.
All right. Cool. Cool. But that's nice. What does success mean to you personally beyond fame and awards?
Well, I believe success is when you truly know who you are and
Hmm.
what you should be doing right now. When you have an idea like, okay, I get it. I am this. I don't like this, but I love this. I will tolerate this, but I will not have anything to do with that.
Right.
I'm very confident in myself. And I feel that when you can look in the mirror and feel all those things,
Yeah.
but also so confident that it's not arrogant,
Hmm.
that you want to share what you know
Yeah.
to other people. You know, I feel like when you are there and you want to share what you know, that's successful.
That's success.
That is success. That is like, okay, it was a struggle to get here, but I believe everybody needs to have that, because this is what it did for me. And here's your shortcut. Listen to this story. You know what I
That's
mean?
right.
Hear
That's
these
right.
words and keep them in the back of your brain, but go live your life.
That's right. Wow. So that's success. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's a great way to put that. Well, from the very beginning of your career up until this day, 2025, how did you maintain your mental health striving to stay sane in an industry that can be so unfair?
Um, wow. And it can be very unfair. But I at times I wondered, like, why didn't I get that? Or, and then I'd see it and be like, oh, that's why you didn't get it.
Yeah, that's
It
why.
could be a positive or a negative. You didn't get it because you didn't work it like she did. She worked, look at that. She did an excellent job. You missed that little one thing.
Wow.
Or it could have been like, oh, it must have been a favor. Either way,
Mm-hmm.
neither one of those things have anything to do with me.
Wow.
They
Wow.
have, I have to make sure that I deliver my best. And when I'm done, that's it. And if I get the job, maybe it's because, if I didn't get the job, maybe it's because, either one of those two things I just mentioned, maybe it was because she did actually a better job than me, or maybe it's because she knew somebody, or, it could be a number of things. But my whole thing is to make sure that you feel that you did the best. And sometimes not getting a job doesn't mean anything necessarily because you booked the room.
That's right.
I've had producers and casting directors offer me jobs, not that one, but in something else that they're producing, because they liked me, but I just wasn't right for that. So it's like I maintain to always do my best to take time for myself. I do a lot of beauty treatments at home. Going to a spa is great, but I take a day for beauty, and that's a form of self-love. Washing your hair, deep conditioning it, giving yourself a facial, having a glass of champagne while you're doing it.
Yeah.
It's just a form of that. And then having a good core group of friends that are your friends, that will tell you like it is, and not a bunch of yes people around you.
That's right.
Right. I have that. I have people that will read me, and it's all out of love,
They're not afraid. They're not afraid to tell you.
And I feel having that and knowing that you always need to study. You don't know everything. You never will. This is a constant learning while you're alive. You have to relearn or learn more things, and being open to that. And I feel like all of those elements have allowed me to have longevity and to have a good head on my shoulders, because when you have somebody that's like, hey, maybe the problem's not everybody else, maybe the problem is you. And maybe you need to sit down and rethink some things and adjust, because here's what I see. Like, you're like, I didn't see it like that. But at least you have the people there to tell you,
Just direct up front. Yeah, maybe it's you. Wow. It's nothing wrong. You need friends like that, people to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Wow. What is something you wish you had the courage to do or say but haven't yet?
The courage to say or do but haven't yet. There's a feeling that I have that I want to say some things, but I feel like because of my color, it'll just come off like, here they go again,
Backfire.
But the thing that I want to say is, I feel that women have had a very unfair run in this world, and especially Black women. I really I love being a Black woman, but I hate this aspect of it, that we are not allowed to be or feel anything but pain. If we say da 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 da, oh, there goes the angry Black woman again. If I go to a person and describe, like, maybe a situation I'm having, a relationship issue, I'll get shooed away and told to go back to it rather than being heard. Like, I've had all of the scenarios, and then I've sat down and said, it was so crazy. Women overall, we're like second-class citizens, third-class citizens in this world. But as a Black woman, you are only allowed to do what is is expected of you. But to have a problem, or to say I'm not feeling well, or I'm just not, anywhere in the workplace or in the world, they be looking at you like, Anne,
Yeah. Wow.
clean up on aisle 3. You know what I mean? Like, but
Wow.
let someone
Just
else of
overlooked.
another color come and say the same thing. Oh, you can have the 2 days off. It's okay.
Oh yeah,
You know?
they're going to console them. That's right.
And then I just came down to the conclusion, like, as a Black woman, we're not allowed to feel anything
Right.
but pain.
Wow. Wow. And you have been talking like about this for a long time, trying to have a voice in Hollywood, or trying to have a voice to allow them to give better roles to Black women. Do you
Mm-hmm.
think that it has gotten easier, or it's still the same?
It is still the same.
Okay.
But what I'll say that has expanded is the amount of Black talent that is allowed to be out all at once. And I will credit that to Tyler Perry.
Okay.
I will. Tyler Perry has created great jobs for up and coming actors and seasoned actors to come in and and once you do that with him, you come to the overall Hollywood, out of Black Hollywood, just in Hollywood, they respect him, and then now they respect you.
Okay.
So it's like you have more of us colored people on TV. Color meaning that you got Latinas, you got more Black people all over than it was when I was on TV. Back in the 90s, you just had like Living Single, Martin,
Yeah.
Steve
What?
Harvey show.
Yeah. At that time.
Yeah. But now there's so many shows, and you got Cedric and Tashina Arnold keep holding it down on CBS, The
Yeah.
Neighborhood.
The Neighborhood. Yeah.
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 We had Blackish, but there's more now, that I'm seeing. And then we have platforms. Zeus is one, like we're expanding, and we're growing, and we're still babies in this, as far as Black people entrepreneurs, but we're expanding. The Jordan Peels, the Lena Waits, they got the shows, they got the movies, and they're young, and I'm very, very pleased with the expansion, but we could do better.
Yeah.
Meaning the industry, not us as Black folk. They could do better with us.
Although we do have a lot of Black shows, television series and stuff out now, for me, it still seems like they're still on top. White, the white corporate, they're still on top regardless. It's like, we're going to let you do, we're not going to let you go but so far. But we're going to still be, I just don't like that part of it. It's just like,
that's part of it. You have to let that go, because at the end of the day, this is their business. They did start it. They are not going to let anybody come in and take over what they started. So I ask all of my people to get that out your head, please, because that's the same thing as you opening up let's say you open up your restaurant, and these people work for you, and now they're bringing you ideas, and the restaurant's booming. You're like, thank you. That you give them their cut or whatever, but now they're like, now you need to let me take the restaurant. I got all the stuff. Wow. It's like, no, you can get a baby restaurant, but you ain't getting this restaurant.
Yeah, you're not taking this one.
Wow. Right. So that's how I look at it. And I understand that this is their game, and you got to play by their rules. But what we can do is continue to create. And then we can continue to do independent things that rage a wage of, hey, this succeeded over here independently. You need us.
That's right.
That's the way to do it. And that's just not people of color that have to do that. That's everybody, if you're not in with them.
That's right. Wow.
Yes.
Wow. And that's how it goes. That's the
And
story.
that's how it goes.
That's how
You
it
know,
goes.
so that's you and they playground. They built the playground. You got to play by their rules. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, because like you said, we you have to do what you got to do. Play by their rules until
Play
you
by
out.
their rules until you don't. You
Until
know,
you,
but while you playing by their rules, take pages out of your comrades' books, and start other businesses outside of this business so that you can be your own boss,
that's
you
right.
know, that have nothing to do with this. Use your platform now, like Taraji has with hair care products, and
Right.
she's in all the stores now. She didn't just let this have to dictate my life, which is what you don't want to do,
Yeah,
you know.
she's expanded now. She's doing
Yes.
greater things. Well, just two more questions. If you can give your younger self one piece of advice, knowing what you know now, what would it be?
It's not that serious, girl. It is not that serious. Get your butt up and let's go.
Let's go.
Like, because I was such a, like, I'm Scorpio, and I'm a real Scorpio. In my chart, I'm like Scorpio like 5 times. So I'm very intense. And when you're young and you're not really in touch with your emotions and your feelings and the whys of everything, you're a live wire,
That's right.
and so everything's a tragedy and you're just all over the place. I would just tell
Dramatic.
myself, girl,
Yeah, get up.
no, it's not that serious. You're good.
Wow. Get up and go. Let's
Get
go.
up. Yes.
What's one thing people don't know about you that will surprise them?
Um, I am really very much an introvert and I'm not glamorous at all.
Oh, okay.
No. I usually walk around looking like a hag with sweatpants and my
Oh,
hair
yeah.
standing on top of my head and maybe a holy t-shirt. And I like it.
Oh, wow.
I'll put a hoodie on and go to the store like that with
Yeah, that's your comfort zone.
a pair of Uggs on. Like, I just don't care. I do what I do, and I know that I have to look good, and do certain things. And I know how to put myself together, and I'm fine with that. I look at it like I'm painting a canvas of what I want to look like, or I can tell my makeup artist or hairstylist, this is what, whatever. I got
Right.
that. But I like to just not to do any of that. I just
Yeah.
like to be plain Jane. I like to read books, a lot of spiritual books, self-help books, um,
Yeah.
ancient knowledge books. Like, like
Okay.
I like insects, like
Oh, okay.
I
Okay.
like to, beautiful insects like butterflies,
Ladybug. You like to collect butterflies and
ladybugs,
ladybugs.
butterflies, dragonflies, like there's a certain insects that I think are so beautiful. And I sometimes raise them and let them fly in my house around,
Oh,
so I
yeah.
got bugs in here all the time.
Wow, wow. So you take a jar out with you and catch them in the jar and then bring them home?
No, actually, because they do this with children in kindergarten. So there's a place where you can buy caterpillars.
Oh, you buy them. Okay.
Yeah, because they're showing them how it gets into the chrysalis and all that. The
Okay.
kids, it's a kids thing, but I am still a big kid, so I get those, and I can go show you one. I have one, but
Yeah. Wow.
I'm fascinated by how they're so little and how they grow every day. It's every day there's something,
Wow.
and then they kind of get into like this chrysalis, but it's not full on, and it's like they come out bigger and they're still
Oh, okay.
squirming around, and then when they get into the cocoon, that's when it's like, okay, now they're ready.
They're
But they
ready.
have
Yeah.
moments where they get this like silk lining. Oh, it's really
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. Just watching it, you get so excited just watching it, watching it
Yeah.
take place like that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, this was wonderful. What's next for you? Any projects you're working on, TV shows? What are you doing?
So right now I've just been promoting hashtag Worst Christmas Ever, which is out now on all streaming platforms. You can catch it on Prime. I teamed up with Bill Bellamy again in this movie, and it's a great Christmas movie. Taja Simpson is in it. BJ Britt. I've worked with both of them a few times, and Maurice Hall. He's the director with Tony, and it was just great. Like the whole thing is, we need more African American Christmas stories, and this is one that's I will get a top 5. And then I've also been promoting Sarah's Oil. This is my first narration of a feature film.
Yeah, I have that. I'm sorry I missed that question. It's right there.
No, it's great. Another Kingdom Story Company job. You know, I'm in the Kingdom Story Company family now, so they know to call me anytime. But I worked on Sarah's Oil, and that story is a true story, which I love. And
it's voiceover, right?
Yeah, it's the voiceover of the older Sarah Rector who's telling the story of how she struck oil in the land. It's very, very, I'd never even heard of this, or the fact that they gave children land like that, you know, back in those days as reparations, you know, because we always talk about where our reparations at, where's our 40 acres in the mill.
That's right.
Well, this girl, you know, she got like 120 something acres. Yeah.
Okay.
And this is true story. True story. Wow. Her relatives were like, I can't believe we're seeing our great grandmother, you know, come to life before our eyes. It's a great story. I don't want to tell it all, but every actor, Naya is amazing. This is this little girl's first project ever, and she murdered her role. She killed, and she carried the movie. And she was up there with heavy hitters, you know, so it's great. Everybody was so great in the movie. But yes, my first narration of a movie. So I was really excited about that. And then I have a movie that I will be shooting based on a true story. Can't really say too much about it, but I start in January. So we're getting production together to get started for that.
Wow, you still have so much going on, and it's going to be more and more and more, you know, like we just talked about. Like you work like 2, 3, 4 jobs. You know what I mean? That's great though. That's great. I had a nice time with you, Tamala Jones, Miss Tamala Jones. I thank you for this interview. I really do.
Thank you. I had a great time talking to you too.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Hey, this is Tamala Jones, and you're watching A Vision Entertainment.